Okay, so this is Mandarin 1, and we are going to continue our lesson 3-1 grammar that we didn't finish from last week, right? So we finished up page 1, and we are now on page 2 and 3 of this packet. Okay, so we continue looking at numbers, and we're looking at months. And so as you can see, like I've complained many times in class that, the American style of months is really hard to understand, whereas the Chinese style is much easier, right? January is the first month, so it's 1月. February is the second month, so it's 2月. So when you're listing it in order, typically we use 1、2、3、4. 2 is used in this case. But then when it's more colloquial, it's more casual, then we use 2, and you're going to see when in some of these cases we use 2 versus using 2, right? So in all these months, I would like you to fill in the pinyin of the month. For example, I want to see 1月、2月、3月、4月、5月、6月、7月、8月、9月、10月、11月 and 12月. Feel free to stop the video at any time to have more time to fill in the blanks. All right. Please make a note that 12 because there are two vowels right next to each other. So you need an apostrophe between the I and the E. Okay. All right. So it says in spoken Chinese, hao is used to refer to the day of the month. However, in written Chinese, 日 is always used. So when you are talking about it, when you're talking to a friend, you would say 2月5号 rather than 2月5日. 日 is used because you're trying to write this out. Okay. Also, 年 always follows the numbers referring to a year. So 1786年, right? 2015年. So 年 is after the number for the year. So unlike English, where the 2 years above are read 1786 and 2015 respectively, years in Chinese are pronounced one digit at a time. So we don't combine into like 15 or like, for example, right now it's 2024. We don't say 2024, we say 2024年. So each of the digits, all right? To give a date in Chinese, observe the following order. We go from the biggest to the smallest. So we go from year to month to day, and then the day of the week, if you can provide. Okay. So since today, your day is Tuesday, I would like to write today's date and your birth date. So for today's date, I would like to see that you write 2024年1月16日星期二. I believe we are in 星期二. Hold on a second. Let me fix that. 星期二. Okay. Now your birth date, I'm pretty sure you don't know what day of the week it is. So just give me the birthday. So give me the year, month, and day. So for me, my birthday is going to be 1981年6月19日. All right. So put down your birthday. I shouldn't see this birthday on all your papers. Okay. Moving on, we're talking about time. So we're first going to start with the hours. So these are whole hours, right? So right now, the first clock says 2 o'clock. Now, it could be 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock at night. In Chinese, there's no AM, PM. We basically say morning or night or afternoon. So this is 2 o'clock in the morning. In fact, it's 2 a.m. It's actually not morning. We would say 凌晨. 凌晨is like there's a very specific time frame. I would believe it's more like 4 a.m. and before. So from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. it's 凌晨. And after that, you can say 早上. So 早上5点, 早上6点, 7点, 8点, 9点, 10点, all the way up to 12点. 12点 is 中午. It's noon. So then 中午. And after that becomes afternoon. So we say 下午 1点, 2点, 3点, 4点. About 5 or 6 is a little iffy, right? Because it then becomes 晚上, it becomes night. So the 晚上 is basically like 6 all the way until midnight. So in Chinese, there's no AM, PM, but then the description of it is way more specific in terms of the time of day. All right. So first picture here, we see 2 o'clock. So we can say 2点 or 2点钟. So note here, we're saying 2点, not 2点, right? 2点. 2点钟, that 钟 is optional. That's why it's in parentheses here. All right. And the next clock here, we have 11点. So we have 11点 or 11点钟. Okay, that works too. Okay, next we have minute, right? We have minute, and we have, reading this clock correctly, this should say, oh, I think I messed up here. I put 1点, but if we read this clock correctly, it actually isn't 1点. It's 12点40分, because not 1 o'clock yet, because of the way you read the clock, right? All right, so it's okay. Let's see the next one. Next picture here looks like it is 2:05. So remember the O needs to be in there. So we have the 零 in there. So it goes 2:05分. Again, 分 is optional. You don't have to have the 分 in there if it's not necessarily super important to have it there. Okay. All right. Next clock we have 5:20. So 5:20分. Okay. And the last picture here, it's not yet 9 o'clock. So this looks like it's 8:50. So 8:50分. Okay. All right, here in the description, it reminds you the term 零 is usually added before a single digit number of 分. So for example, 2:05分. So any single digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 分, you need to add the 零. Otherwise, double digit, you don't need the 零, right? 分 can be omitted from the end of the expression if the number for the minutes appears in 2 syllables. So because you're adding the 零, everybody becomes 2 syllables, right? 05, 06, 07, and then the double digit have 2 syllables because 11, 12, 13. So you can say 1:40 or 2:05, but not 2:05. You need that 零 in there to hold your place. Okay. All right. Another way of looking at this is that the section related to 分 has to be at least 2 syllables for you to ignore the 分. Now, this is very interesting. Quarter hour, there is a special way to say it, but we don't really say it colloquially. It's really used more in like ancient writing. But if you say it, people know what you're talking about. For example, this clock says 2:15. So we would say 2点1刻. Ke is a quarter hour. So you go by quarters. And you don't need the half because half has another term of itself, like in part D here. So you're really looking at 15 or 45. So here at 45, the next picture looks like 11:45. We say 11:03刻. So ke is a quarter and 3刻is 3/4. Okay. All right. On the half hour, we have this one. We have 2:30. So we have 2点半. And then the last clock here, we have 12:30 because it's not yet 1 o'clock here. So 12点半. Oops, that's 1点半. I wrote it wrong too. Sorry about that. 12点半. Yeah, it's 12点半, not yet 1 o'clock. Okay. So evening time, PM. These are all PM. See, notice how I said it's really after 6 o'clock, then you really consider it as like 晚上. So all these are 晚上. So here I would like you to fill in the pinyin for them to know how to say it. All right. So first one will be 晚上7点钟. And then 晚上8点05分. 晚上9点1刻. And then 晚上10点半. Okay. All right. Moving on. Part 3. When the personal pronouns 我, 你, 他, so me, you, and he or she are followed by a term indicating close personal relationships such as 妈妈, 弟弟, and 家, the word de can be omitted. So you can say 我妈妈, 你弟弟, 我们家. You don't have to say 我的妈妈, 我的弟弟 because they have a close relationship to you. So it says otherwise, de is generally required for anything that's not super personal. But I feel like birthday is kind of personal. You can also say 我生日. It's a little odd, but it's not that bad. But then, doctor, of course, not super personal. So you say 他的医生, okay? So 我的老师. You can also say 我老师. That really does indicate you have a really, really close relationship with that teacher. But if not, then it's best to err on the side of caution and say 我的老师, okay? All right. Sentence structure of 我请你吃饭. In the sentence 我请你吃饭, I will treat you to dinner. 你 is the object of the verb 请 as well as the subject of the second verb 吃. So both actions are referring to the same person, okay? So 明天李先生请你吃中国菜. So he's going to treat you to Chinese food, okay? 今天晚上我请你和你妹妹, so both you and your sister, 吃美国菜怎么样? Okay? All right. Last part here, the structure 是 versus 还是 is used to form an alternative question. If there's another verb used in the predicate, the first 是 can be omitted. All right. So in the first two structure, we have the 是还是. So you say 你是中国人还是美国人? So you are asking the two options. And generally, your answer should be one of the two. It shouldn't be a third option. But it's not like it's not okay. It's just general. All right. 你哥哥是老师还是学生? So he's a teacher or a student. Okay. Now, this one says, 是你请我吃饭还是他请我吃饭? So this 是 is unnecessary because there's a verb in the first part. 你请我吃饭, right? So that 请, that is the verb. That's why we can omit the 是. All right. Same thing in the next one. 他是喜欢吃中国菜 or 他喜欢吃中国菜还是喜欢吃美国菜? And your answer is 中国菜美国菜他都喜欢. So again, I'm not giving a third option. I am referring to the two options given to me in the question here. Okay. All right. That's it for this. Make sure you do submit this on Canvas when you are done. Okay.